Good morning. Glad to be here. What are our goals? What kind of inclination do we have for ourselves? We want to, I presume, grow and improve ourselves. How do we determine what our goals could be? By thinking, by being mindful, by spending time in self-analysis of what we conceive as goals which will fulfill ourselves, which will make us happy. Simple enough, but not always easy to settle down enough inside of oneself to have a conversation like this. Mindful meditation can be a catalyst for this endeavor. Highly recommended to consider oneself in the light, the illumination of one's greater perspective, one's self-awareness that encompasses one's virtues and what the circumstances are we find ourselves in within this concept of our universe, of ourselves as Homo sapiens. The greater degree of perspective we share within and outside of ourselves, the potential to make better decisions increase. This is what we're looking for, because for sure we're going to be wrong as much as, or to some degree, as we are right. Maybe more, maybe less. The more we, on a regular basis, attempt to analyze the possibilities of our future, of our moments coming towards us, the better off we'll be. I think this is what we can safely call as playing one's averages, playing one's possibilities. In a sense, it's gambling, because we can have a great success or we can have big problems. Everything is up in the air. We are fragile. Our world is fragile. Governments and economies are fragile, and all to varying degrees, of course. But events are spontaneous, and events, again, have their own potential and possibilities. So one doesn't know what's going to occur outside of one's own domain, outside of one's own capacity to influence in an infinite number of ways. Those things we can help ascertain through being aware of our own consciousness, of our own relationships to the universe, ourselves, our DNA, the past, evolution, and up through current events is the game that we are all in. How much or how little one chooses to play in this game is an important concept to consider for oneself. We come equipped with a mind and a physicality that is a bundle of miracles. When one takes the opportunity to think about one's own physicality and the DNA that we're comprised of in ourselves, we realize there is so much going on. There is again, and I don't use these words lightly, an infinitude of choices being made simultaneously in every progressing moment of time. It's can be overwhelming, can be awe-inspiring, can be an opportunity, can be something one is afraid of. The list of selections one can make continues on and on in varying degrees, in a changing manner as everything else is changing as the moments progress. It's a kaleidoscope of events occurring in this physical universe where we live. It's amazing. When we call ourselves to self-realizing mindful meditation, oftentimes one begins by exploring one's own physicality. It is a simple and elegant way to say hello to oneself, to begin one's day. Recommend everyone create for themselves or find a phrase or phrases which helps one initiate a higher state of awareness, a higher state of consciousness. These are the same things, or have the potential to be. One is with a little more tools that one has available to them, a higher state of consciousness than just awareness. One can be super aware because there's a danger. Does that mean that one has a lot of different perspectives that are crossing their noggin in this situation? Maybe, maybe not. And this is the difference that we're talking about it. Can we diffuse this situation? Can we accentuate this situation? Can we just ride and be neutral in this situation? And all the degrees in between, on both sides of this balance we're talking about of our being. Where and what is one's balance? Where is one's strength and weaknesses? Where is one's sense of positivity or negativity? How much homework has one done? As a catalyst for one's behavior. How do you behave in these situations? Do you freeze up or plow ahead? And everything in between. Mindful meditation helps one think about these things. Self-analysis. Having a conversation with one's own heart, one's own soul, one's own being. And accumulating tools, virtues, characteristics, qualities one can come to rely on. I keep repeating this virtue of kindness as an example. And a situation arises where kindness can play an important part in how one determines a perspective on what's going on a situation. This word plops into one's mind, kindness. Do you think this is going to have a degree of influence? And the answer is yes, maybe, or most likely. And the percentage of probability or potential of it having nothing to do is less than its potential to be more positive, to be more kind, rather than less kind. And of course, everything is open, always changing. One's kindness in one's moment doesn't mean in 30 moments from now it hasn't changed. Circumstances have changed for 30 moments. It can be a different world. And in fact, it is very definitely a different world. What is one's perspective? What can be different in half a minute? Everything. Think about it. Being here now, in this moment, practicing physically comfortable, being in an environment where we can focus on our conversation. We're aware of the physicality of most likely these 4 different areas that we often speak of. One's breathing, one's pulsing, the heat emanating, and the vibration emanating from one's body. These 4 are powerful tools to help one guide themselves into greater degree of focus and concentration. What then does this sacred phrase or phrases have the capacity to do? To help us initiate this funneling down of our awareness into our physicality. We start making steps. We are becoming more aware. Our perspective begins to heighten. Our receptivity and sensitivity are sharpened to an edge. We can begin to sense a greater depth in our universe. Here, an opportunity to practice a state of awe arrives. When one, through one's own thinking, arrives in a state of reverence of what one is considering, the immensity of creation, for instance, or our DNA. And in looking at what we've just said, being in a state of amazement, making this occur. It is an action that is part of one's meditation. It can be spontaneous. If it's not, making it such to one's reasoning, just like we're making our virtues such by being positive and self-affirming, being this way. We are bundles of miracles, everyone. We have the capacity to be humbled, becoming aware, being appreciative of the immensity of creation. Again, this same potential to be filled with gratitude. It is an effort to do this. It doesn't necessarily just arrive, although it can be spontaneous for sure. It can be a building block, step-by-step creation inside of one's self. Self-realization, illumination, revelation is what we're talking about. It is an effort one acquires greater degrees of efficiency and possibility by doing regularly, by creating habits, rituals, a sense of responsibility, a sense of enthusiasm, of curiosity, of joyful contribution to one's own self-improvement. Thinking about these things is important. The music continues for another minute. Please linger and consider our conversation. Namaste.